Hey there, how are you today? My name's Dana Damara. You have landed on Astrocast. This is your weekly forecast from March 27th to April 2nd. Okay, so we just had, I don't know, 2.5, 3 weeks of absolute restart button, new beginnings. And so my question to you is, have you observed or have you noticed how you acted over the last 2.5 weeks when things started to go awry? Or maybe something came up in your life and you were like, oh my God, why is this happening? Or have you noticed yourself falling into an old pattern? And I asked that because since Saturn changed signs, we had a stack upon a stack upon a stack upon a stack of astrological events that shifted things systemically, potentially deep changes that maybe you haven't noticed yet, but maybe you're noticing them in your dreams, or maybe the way you feel about something, like all of a sudden something that you were really like okay with, I don't want to say excited about, but okay with, now you're not okay with anymore. This is what happens when we have the astrology that we've had over the last 2 weeks or so. We're headed into spring in the Northern Hemisphere, and we're headed toward a beautiful full moon next week. But this week, I really want to encourage you to use your imagination. I do invite you to look backward just a little bit over the last maybe 2 weeks and just notice anything that came up for you that was maybe an old trigger, or maybe it was an old story that you've been dealing with in your life, and maybe something came up around it. How did you respond? And then let me just put this out there and say, give yourself some grace if you didn't respond in the way that is completely enlightened. It's okay. The big thing is to notice, right? So the reason why I'm calling out using your imagination this week, there's a couple things, but 2, 3 things. One is Mercury is going to conjunct Jupiter. Now, Mercury is the planet of communications. It's your day-to-day philosophy. Remember, all the planets are moving forward. Jupiter is expansion, right? So, and abundance and good fortune and wisdom and knowledge, right? So when these two conjunct each other in the sky, you could receive wonderful news. You could get some sort of intuitive hit about how do I want to spend my time? Maybe you've been working on this project and you're at a block and you're like, I don't know what to do next. Hopefully something will expand for you. I think part of the problem is that as humans, we kind of fall into old patterns. And then not only do we fall into an old pattern, but we also like beat ourselves up for falling into the old pattern, which just makes it worse. And I have a whole idea for my podcast around this theme too. So stay tuned for that. But just be open to new ideas coming to you, to positive energy coming toward you. Maybe there's a new business contract coming toward you. There's just opportunities. So be open. Don't be in the rumination of the mistake you made last week, last month, last year, last life. Just at some point you gotta let it go. Unexpected energy is going to come, and so I just invite you to be open to that. Mars is going to trine Saturn. Saturn is about responsibility, structure, rules, karma, the Lord of time, right? So when Mars trines it, it creates a triangle in the sky, so to speak. It creates this, it's 150 degrees, okay? And it could potentially create a sweet little triangle if there's another planet there. Anyways, I'll save that for another story. I could go off on so many tangents, but when Mars trines Saturn, what happens is it's asking, that energy is asking you to take responsibility. Like, let's say you've been sitting on something and you're like, God, I really got to do that. God, I really got to do that. God, I really got to do that. Like, don't keep saying that. Just do it. Now's like the time to do it. It can give you an energy of perseverance to kind of push through those blocks. Venus conjunct Uranus also this week. So when Venus conjuncts Uranus, Venus is about love, abundance, financial flow, what you value, and it's sitting exactly with Uranus. And so Uranus is about change. Uranus is about a higher mind thinking. So this is quick shifts. You could shift into something new. You could see that opportunity that's coming to you. It's a way to honor those opportunities, up level your value. Like, notice where you haven't been valuing yourself, quite honestly, and ask yourself, like, are there any shifts that are getting ready to happen in my life that is going to up level my value or my ability to be vulnerable or intimate? Or maybe it's about up leveling your own self-care. Like, what are you going to shift in your life that's going to use that energy of beauty and value and financial flow and financial freedom to make a shift in your life? And the way to do that, like all of these transits this week, right? All these transits really require you to use your imagination. It doesn't require you to create a spreadsheet, kind of analyze the data, theoretically ask, where should I go? It's more like, use your imagination, go into those realms where you're beyond the thinking mind and you're really dropping into the heart and the higher mind. Go there this week. I have a whole idea for the podcast. I'm so excited. If you don't know about my podcast, it's soulmedicine.live, soulmedicine.live if you want, but I like live. Soulmedicine.live. And I want to explore this week the idea around imagination and why it's important. This is about planets and how I came up with this. We're going to be exploring this in class all week long. So I hope I see you there. And if I don't, my God, spend some time using your imagination, like dream big. Okay. Dream big, co-manifest with your creator. Have a beautiful day, everyone. Hope to see you soon. Namaste.